In this video, we are going to summarize and review the Harvard Business Review article about how to reshape your leadership brand when you start a new role. Now, this is the second video in this career article review series because my first video actually got pretty positive feedback and I thought I would continue the trend. And once I read this article, I realized that even though it's marketed for leaders or leadership positions or executives, I realized that the advice in here about building your personal brand or reshaping your personal brand is going to be helpful for anyone, regardless of your level, if you are joining a brand new team, whether you're transferring internally or starting a brand new job. And you don't have to be an executive to learn key takeaways from this video. So what we're going to cover is, first, I'm going to give you a quick summary of the article so you don't have to read it if you don't want to. Then I'm going to talk about the analysis of what they covered in the video. And then I'm going to cover key takeaways that I think you should know as you are planning out your career. And if you want more free career advice just like this, make sure you click subscribe down below and drop a like. Harvard Business Review is one of the most popular and probably the most reputable source of career advice. And so once I saw this article come up on my newsfeed, I had to click it. And I think it brings up some very interesting points in its article. So let me summarize some of those for you first. So first, your personal brand or your reputation, which are basically synonymous, are going to be shaped heavily by what you were able to accomplish and what you did or how you acted in your previous role. And when you are joining a brand new team or starting a new job, what you need to realize is that the people that you're going to be working with, whether they report to you or will be on the same team, will most likely be doing their homework and research about you. So they're going to be asking your former colleagues and friends, coworkers, managers, etc. about you and your personal brand and what it's like to work with you. And it's important to realize that misconceptions about your personal brand or reputation can actually create barriers for you to be successful in your next role. So this article actually gives you 3 actions or 3 steps that you should follow so that you can reshape your personal brand if you actually need to. And the first step to do this is to put yourself in their shoes. Think about it from their perspective. If you were getting a brand new boss or you were getting someone new to your team, what are some of the questions you would have about them? What are some questions you would want to look up about them on their social media profiles? Or what would be some things you would ask your former colleagues about you? This is kind of tough because you need to be brutally honest with yourself and think about what it is that people would actually say about you. And sometimes it's going to be good, and sometimes not all of it will be positive. And a lot of that can come down to perception, which is something you really need to think about. For example, if you had a really big impact in your last role, but you were able to achieve fantastic results in a very short amount of time, which may seem very impressive to you, which undoubtedly is, you need to think about how that could be interpreted by your previous teammates or colleagues. They may describe you as ruthless, or someone who will do anything at all costs to achieve results, or someone who is very top-down, or someone who's very bossy, because that's how you were able to get very amazing results in a short period of time. And then the second step is to identify your potential barriers to success. After doing the first step and being brutally honest and knowing what people may actually think about you, now you can start to think about ways where you can proactively address some of these concerns that may potentially create problems for you as you join this brand new team. And the third and final step is to take action. You need to think about whether or not you are going to leverage your personal brand in your new role and if it's going to be helpful or hurtful for you. And knowing when and when not to leverage your personal brand can be a bit tricky and comes with experience. The article gives this really great example where, let's say you were brought in a leadership position or a managerial role to turn around the team or to turn around the company. If your personal brand plays well to that perspective, where maybe you are known for being potentially a little ruthless or being top down or being really results oriented, you're going to want to lean into that personal brand and leverage it in your first few days at the company. You're going to want to leverage your personal brand to show other leaders and other key decision makers in your company or your team that you are here to achieve results. and that they are going to be able to respect you based on the results that you are able to get them. Now, on the flip side though, let's say you're brought in and you don't need to turn anything around, but you were hired because of the previous major accomplishments that you've had by turning around your previous company. Now, in this case, leveraging your personal brand would actually be unproductive or hurtful for you because you're going to be met with a lot of resistance. Because if they're already doing great and they don't actually need to be turned around, they're going to assume that their jobs are at risk or that you are unpleasant to work with, or that you are a unfriendly and very controlling boss. So to address this, you're going to want to start to reshape your personal brand during your first few days or first weeks in the office. And it's not about just communicating your intentions, but also showing it with your actions. For example, you may want to promote people from within the company rather than trying to hire external talent. This will show them that the company is doing fantastic already, and because they're doing great, you want to elevate the existing talent that is already there and reward this fantastic performance and existing behavior. If you wanted to hire people externally, you would send the opposite message, where the company is actually not doing well or the people that currently work there are not at your standards and you'd rather hire people outside the company. All right, so what is my analysis of the advice in this Harvard Business Review? Well, to be totally honest, I think everything covered in this article is super valuable, not just for executives or leaders, but for anybody who is joining a new team or a new company. Because what you need to think about is that your personal brand is shaped heavily by your reputation, which basically comes from the rumor mill, and it's a giant game of telephone. So make sure that you are thinking about how people may be perceiving you and if it's going to be correct or not, and figuring out ways to show people that your reputation or your brand is accurate or inaccurate. Remember, showing people through actions, like the one that the article gave about promoting within, is far more powerful than just communicating or saying things, because actions always speak much louder than words, as we all know. And don't get too stressed about what people may be saying about you behind your back or spreading rumors about you, because you can't control what other people say about you, but you can control how people perceive you based on your actions. And the first few weeks at your brand new job or in your brand new team are going to be critical for shaping or reshaping that personal brand of yours. And the other really good point this article makes is that you need to be aware of the context for the role that you were hired into, or you need to be aware of the purpose as to why you were hired. And what you were able to accomplish in your previous role isn't always necessary or required for you to do again in your new position. Another way to think about this is basically if you were able to do something really amazing and have a huge impact at your last company by really turning things around or by dramatically changing things, this allowed you to stand out as a candidate, and it showed them that you are a fantastic and qualified person for this role, probably better than all of the other candidates. But it doesn't mean that what you were able to do in your last company is something you need to do at this current one, or for this new team. Because maybe your last team or company was underperforming or not meeting its goals. And now in your new position or your new team, you're joining a high-performing team. So you don't need to do those same things even though you were hired based on those accomplishments. So that's something you're going to want to be aware of, and just remember that that will shape your personal brand based on your previous accomplishments. So what's the key takeaway here? Well, I think your success in your role or at your job is going to be heavily determined by your personal brand, whether you realize it or not. So when you're facing resistance at your job, you need to think about whether it's from your personal brand or your perception or the rumors that may be going on about you. And it may not be that specific person's fault for being rude to you or off-putting or for giving you resistance. Think about it from your perspective and take a step back. Realize, why may these people be resistant to me? Why may they be treating me this way? Or why do they feel that I may be having this negative reputation when I'm actually a really nice guy. So think about how you can be reshaping your personal brand through actions. And I think this is going to be really key for anyone when they join a brand new team, because this gives you an opportunity to basically reestablish yourself. It's kind of like when you graduated high school and you went to college where no one really knew who you were. You got this opportunity to basically rebuild yourself, whether that's for better or for worse. All right, I hope this summary of this Harvard Business Review article was helpful. And if you want more career tips like this, make sure you subscribe down to the channel below and drop a like if you found this video to be helpful and you learned something new. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.